I couldn't be more proud of a group of guys and the way you battled and the way you competed. There's no quit. We win together and we lose together. Is everybody clear on that?
Yes, sir.
We're not done. We're going to play another game. We're not going to leave this group without a win.
Welcome, Irish fans, to this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football with Brian Kelly. I'm Jack Nolan. The Stanford game was a contest of tremendous highs and lows for Notre Dame. Some of the highs, a kickoff return for touchdown from C.J. Sanders, a Notre Dame freshman record 168 rushing yards from Josh Adams, a dramatic 15-play scoring drive to take a late lead, and a defense that held Heisman Trophy candidate Christian McCaffrey under 100 rushing yards, even though he carried the ball 27 times. But the lows involved another game of red zone frustration on offense and a defense that gave up too many third down conversions and a huge pass play late to set up the winning field goal. It all added up to Notre Dame's second heartbreaking 2-point loss of the season to a top 10 team, but a loss Captain Joe Schmidt vowed after the game the Irish will bounce back from.
We're obviously disappointed, but I think we all know that it's unfair to this football team. It's unfair to the relationships that we've built and how hard we've worked to just throw the towel in. It's not what this football team's about. It's not what I'm personally about. And I know that in that locker room there's not one guy that doesn't want to go out there and play our best football game in our last football game.
Coming up on Inside Notre Dame Football.
We're 2 plays away from being undefeated and being number 1 in the country.
It was a big moment for Notre Dame football to beat Stanford. They were on such a great run and change the tide and the momentum.
Inside Notre Dame Football with Brian Kelly is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Football is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Cadillac, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, and UPS.
While the Irish were on the West Coast to play Stanford, I was in Florida fulfilling my role as the voice of Irish men's basketball. So the Hall of Fame voice of Notre Dame football, Don Criqui, was nice enough to take over my chair for our weekly Inside Notre Dame Football conversation with Coach Kelly.
Kaiser bootleg. Kaiser gets in. Touchdown Notre Dame.
Heartbreaking loss, but a phenomenal effort by the Fighting Irish. One of the greatest games Notre Dame has played in recent memory.
I think we came down here expecting to win. Our guys were in a position to make a play. We just didn't do it. And hats off to Stanford. But I think the real disappointment is we're 2 plays away from being undefeated and being number 1 in the country. So we're proud of where this program is and proud of our players.
Is your overall evaluation of, let's start with the offense, there were some great moments.
Well, we ran the ball effectively, obviously, Don. I think first and foremost, you go on the road against a top 10 team, you better find a running game. And I thought we ran the ball very, very well today. Our offensive line was dominating at times and gave us the kind of balance that you need. You can't just go out and throw the football all over the place and expect to win a football game like this. So I think it started with our running game.
You're showing me looking at the game for the first time. Josh Adams looked like the guy he's another fantastic player.
Yeah, another true freshman stepping in for C.J. Procise, who obviously had a high ankle sprain, and again another kid. I just love the resiliency of this group that they had so many injuries this year, but didn't blink think at all. They just kept playing and just kept competing, and found a way to come in and get another great performance from a first-year player.
Just evaluate some of the game of Kaiser, some of the things he did tonight that impressed you.
The ability to run the football really put, I think, Stanford in a tough position. When you have to defend the quarterback and the read option, and then his ability to push the ball down the field, I thought the last drive, I think, says more about him than anything else. Here's a guy on the road, needing to put together that winning drive, and I think we used up almost 4.5 minutes on the last drive to keep the ball away from Stanford and to score a touchdown, and it was all about Deshaun. He made a great throw on third down under duress to keep the drive alive, ran the football, made really good decisions, and it was really about Deshaun stepping up big in that last drive.
Defensively now, as you evaluate the team, it's almost like a new season coming up, the bowl game a month away, and you'll be in a good one. Evaluate your defense.
After the first couple of drives, I thought we settled in nicely in our front seven, and really, first of all, Christian McCaffrey is a game wrecker, and I thought we controlled him. First of all, I thought our special teams was outstanding to get a kickoff return for a touchdown from true freshman and CJ Sanders. That gave us a huge lift. I thought our kickoffs were outstanding. Our coverage was great, and then to hold McCaffrey defensively down the way we did in terms of running the football, I was really proud of our defense. Obviously they threw the ball better than we wanted them to throw it, and that's an area that obviously was a concern for us, but it's hard to take everything away from Stanford.
Well, you've talked about the fabric of this team and how they're always together. There's never any finger pointing. They're really a joy to coach, and you've got a lot of great players coming back.
We do, and I told them after the game, I said, look, everybody's going to point to the last drive and our defense not being able to make a play, but the fact of the matter is the game is not decided on the last drive. We had 2 or 3 opportunities offensively to turn field goals into touchdowns, or this game's not in the kind of position that it is. So, there's a number of things that if it finishes differently, we're in there talking about the offense, defense, and special teams. It's never just one unit.
Well, I know you've talked about the leadership of this team, how much it means to the overall effort. Who are some of your great leaders that you look back on this season?
Well, I think if you start on defense, Sheldon Day has been outstanding for us. He competes and plays hard every snap for us. 2-time captain. Really proud of his development. Joe Schmidt's been outstanding. I think if you look from a defensive standpoint, Matthias Farley has been a great leader for us. And then on the offensive side of the ball, Nick Martin, Ronnie Stanley have been outstanding, and Chris Brown. Those guys have been constant leaders for us all year.
Well, I think your team certainly made their case for a major bowl game. It was a great year for Notre Dame football, heartbreaking as the ending was.
Yeah, it was, certainly, and I know our kids are disappointed, and there's never any feelings in there that losing is acceptable, but they know they played hard. They know they played right to the very end, and they want to play one more game together, and they want to go out on a winning note. So I know they're excited about whatever happens. They want to play one more game together.
The Notre Dame-USC rivalry is more famous, but an argument can be made that in recent years, the Notre Dame-Stanford rivalry has eclipsed the USC rivalry in terms of its significance nationally in the world of college football. Including their game this past Saturday, both Notre Dame and Stanford have been ranked in each of their last 5 meetings. That has not happened in the Notre Dame-USC series since 2009. Of course, the most memorable of the recent Notre Dame-Stanford games for the Irish took place back in 2012, highlighted by a dramatic goal line stand by Notre Dame on the game's final offensive series in overtime.
Stanford by 3, 13-10, 23 seconds left in regulation. Snap and set down, field goal is up and good. Notre Dame ties it with 20 seconds left.
We're headed to overtime. The kind of rock'em sock'em game that everyone predicted we would see.
Notre Dame has a third down coming up, but they need almost 8. Stanford brings up tremendous pressure. They're going to show an all-out blitz. Everybody's coming. Reese looks, timing ball, downfield. Caught! Somehow, some way, at the 7-yard line. by Theo Riddick.
I saw the blitz, and we're taught, if there's a blitz, to get your head turned around as quick as possible when you're open. And I felt like I had enough space in between the linebacker. So I looked back, and the ball was already in the air. And fortunately, I made a great adjustment to make a great catch.
Here's the snap. Another blitz. Another throw. Ball is caught. Touchdown Notre Dame. T.J. Jones, a diving grab. Notre Dame takes a 20-13 lead on the first possession of overtime. Now it's Stanford's chance. Need 2 for the first down. Will it be Stephon Taylor? It is. Stephon Taylor runs for a first down, and is he going to go for a touchdown? They stop him. But Stanford in position now as Stephon Taylor untackleable.
It was pretty clear that they were going to run the football. They're going to run power. And they kept running power. When they got down to the goal line, we were going to run our overload defense where we were just bringing everybody. And I was wondering whether they were going to let us do that or not.
It will be 2nd and goal for Stanford at the Notre Dame 4-yard lines. Triple tight ends. Stephon Taylor running at Notre Dame. He gets close. No touchdown signal.
I remember that going down the field like, well, it's just going to come down to whether they're going to allow us to run this defense or not.
Stephon Taylor, triple tight ends, no wide receivers. I set in the backfield. Stephon Taylor stopped. He didn't get there. 4th down comes up.
All right, 4th down inside the 1-yard line. The rain intensifies. That Notre Dame defense, which has been so stout all season long, can they do it one more time?
And will they risk another run into this tough Notre Dame defense or play fake to the runner, Stephon Taylor?
You probably want to check out of that play and, toss it outside or do something, and for some reason they let us run that overload pressure.
Here's the snap. Here's the handoff. Notre Dame stops it. The Irish win the game with their great defense. Stanford goes to Taylor. Notre Dame's defense stops him. The Irish win. A come-from-behind victory over Stanford, 20-13.
It was a big moment for Notre Dame football to beat Stanford. They were on such a great run and change the tide and the momentum.
Back in 2010, a number of Fighting Irish players got together to begin what has since become an internet sensation, Notre Dame Trick Shot Monday. The event is only held following wins and involves what on the surface appears to be a fairly easy competition, bouncing a ping pong ball into a cup. But a few weeks ago, with the entire Notre Dame band watching, the Boston College Week Trick Shot Monday ran into a surprising amount of adversity before the ultimate goal was finally achieved.
Trick Shot Monday, Boston College Week. We're here in our state-of-the-art Loftus sports facility with Terry Gillery and company. We'd like to wish a happy birthday to Tim, a longtime Trick Shot Monday viewer. Let's get it. Terry. Romeo, you just lost the ball there. Over. Go get a new ball. What happened? It's up there. I'm done.
Are you kidding me?
Now move that stick with that stick. Yeah, move that. Pop it out. Yes! like taking this trick shot in front of the band and all of our fans out here and in our celebration?
I mean, it's great. I mean, we've never had this big of an audience for Trick Shot Monday, so it's really special to share this moment with the band.
I wouldn't say it was stage fright, but maybe they had something to do with it. We'll try to be better next week.
First car you ever drove?
Ford Explorer.
Favorite musical group or artist?
Meek Mill.
What did you do on your first date?
Kissed her.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Favorite breakfast meal?
Pancakes.
Get up early or sleep in?
Sleep in.
One thing the public would be surprised to learn about you.
I played the clarinet in 6th grade.
One thing you always hear from Coach Kelly at practice.
Hurry up.
Hardest hitter on the team.
Drew.
Best singer on the team.
Me.
Best dancer on the team.
Tory Hunter.
Best comedian on the team.
Dexter.
Best comedian on the coaching staff.
Coach Kelly.
Best dresser on the team.
Probably Brandon Wimbush.
Worst dresser on the team.
Alize Jones.
Best thing about playing for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Notre Dame is the best reason for Notre Dame.
Mr. Adams, you have completed the 60-second drill on Notre Dame, Inside Notre Dame Football. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's time now for the experts at TireRack.com question of the week for Coach Kelly. This week's question comes from Irene Taylor of Salisbury Mills, New York. Coach, what advice would you give young folks who are thinking of becoming a football coach?
It's a tough profession, and I think you really have to, first of all, be committed to the time, the effort. It puts a lot of stress on your wife and family, and you got to make sure you got a commitment from everybody. If you got a commitment from everybody, then it's about, teaching and developing, young men in football. It could be, women and any other sport that you may want to be in. But I think first and foremost, you've got to be committed and you've got to get your family to buy into it as well.
We don't know who the Irish will play next, but we do know Notre Dame has earned the right to play in a very good bowl game. Here's what's on tap for Irish coaches and players over the course of the next few weeks.
Well, the kids will get a few days off. They'll get back in the weight room with Coach Longo, and they'll spend the next 2 or 3 days. And then, we'll wait and see what our situation is. Obviously, we're out of the playoffs. We know that with a second loss. Hopefully, we'll get one of the New Year's Day 6 bowl games. We think we're deserving of it. The way we've played this year, we're only a couple plays away from being undefeated. Hopefully, that works out. We'll find that out on Sunday. And then we'll get a chance to start to practice and prepare for that.
That will do it for this week's show. We'll be back over the holidays with our annual special bowl game preview edition of Inside Notre Dame Football. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Irish.
Inside Notre Dame Football with Brian Kelly is presented by TireRack.com and brought to you by Team Notre Dame partners Sprint, Coke Zero, Under Armour, and Gatorade. Inside Notre Dame Football is also sponsored by Delta Airlines, proud to be the official airline of Notre Dame Athletics, Bank of America, Cadillac, Canon, Xfinity, Meyer, Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, and UPS.